Hello everyone, and happy Memorial Day, and a big thank you to all of our veterans and our troops serving right now. Well, what's more American than stock car racing? There's not much. For the Moyer family, it's a passion, but on May 1st, it had to be hard for the family to go to the track. May 1st was the Mike Moyer Jr. Memorial Race at Mountain Speedway in Drums. Moyer had a lot of success at the Speedway and died less than 2 months before the race. Tonight we remember the former champion and king of the mountain, Mike Moyer Jr.
What's going to happen here? Simfos gives him a little bit of room. They touch. Logan's there. Almost leader. Paul Morgan Jr. on lap number 23. Logan's got over.
Paul Morgan Jr. is driving like there's no tomorrow, and he has to be exhausted. Someone estimated he spent 60 hours over 5 days leading up to this race working on his car. He's so determined to win the Mike Moyer Jr. Memorial Race because he wants to give all of his winnings to his friend's family to help with Mike Moyer Jr.'s son's education. So Morgan is driving like there's no tomorrow after all the work he put in yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. But he comes up just short. He takes second place.
About a week ago, I got asked to drive my buddy Kenny's car, which I got to thank him, because I knew Mike and he wanted me to race for him, and gave it all I got today, and came up a little short, but that's racing.
That's racing, and that's the sport that Morgan loves and that his friend Mike Moyer Jr. also loved.
My group. All right, Mike! Let's do it one more time. Mike Moyer Jr., ladies and gentlemen.
Mike Moyer Sr. started racing in the early 80s at Evergreen Raceway, now Mountain Speedway in Drums. He learned as he drove, and he eventually drove his brother into the hobby with him, and soon enough the entire family was involved. The hobby got expensive, and Moyer took some time off when he moved with his family to North Carolina. But when the Moyers moved back to PA in 2002, they found a less expensive way to race. That's when they started racing against each other online. But eventually they traded in the keyboard for a steering wheel.
We moved to North Carolina, we came back, and my wife took me down to Mahoney one night and got the blood boiling again. Let's go racing again. So we picked up a car from North Carolina, brought it back up here, and found out it was not what we wanted. We tore it apart and put another car together, and we decided, let's put Mikey in the car. He always wanted to race. He's been bugging me for years to race, and I said, no, it's too expensive. And we finally put him in the car, and he was amazing.
During the 2008 season at Mountain Speedway, father and son ran together. Junior took the risks, and Senior helped make sure that he was safe while taking them.
I watched out for him and tried to protect him, let him do what he wanted to do. I was just more out there for have some fun. But the one night, I won the race, and he finished right behind me in second place. That was a memorable moment that night.
That wasn't the only great moment in 2008. Here's what happened at the annual King of the Mountain race.
King of the Mountain 2008. I started on the pole. He started on the outside of me. We started that race. I said, Mikey, you go into turn one. You don't see me down underneath you. Come down and take off. So we ran first and second almost half the race. And finally my tires gave up. A couple cautions came out, and I couldn't catch him. He just flew.
The next season, Mike Moyer Jr. won the factory stock championship at Mountain Speedway. It's now the 2011 season at Mountain Speedway. It's not even 2 months since Mike Moyer Jr. passed away. His family didn't even know if they wanted to have a memorial race so soon. But after talking it over themselves and with their extended racing family, they gave the green flag.
It was a happy day in a way. We're back to where I grew up racing. But the hard part was looking over and seeing his car and him not being there. That was the hardest part of the whole day.
Mike Moyer Sr. took the wheel of Mike Moyer Jr.'s number 7 car to pace the field in his son's memorial race.
To tell you the truth, when I was in his car doing the pace laps, I was thinking to myself, where's my helmet? Where's my fire suit? I should have raced this race instead of pacing the field. But the car wasn't ready to be raced, so we figured it was just leave it at that.
Racing is in the Moyer family blood. Mike Jr.'s sister, Stephanie, is a champion go-kart driver. His brother, Jamie, used to race before he joined the Air Force. And Mike's son, Mike Moyer III, seems to be following in their footsteps.
He loved that kid. I mean, he was always with them. They always did everything together. We'd be working in the garage, and little Mikey was right there helping out, putting tires on the go-kart and stuff like that. He can name every tool in the toolbox.
So the king has an heir. Mike Moyer Jr. was 29 years old. Now we will have more memories of Mike Moyer Jr. online at facebook.com/WILN-Pressbox from some of the drivers who drove in that race. We'll try to get that up a little bit later this week. And a special thank you tonight to the Moyer family and Mike O'Brien from Motorsports Video Production out of New Jersey for the additional video. WILN videographer Julie Stefanovich also contributed to that story.